At this stage in my life, it's about becoming better all around so I can best serve and impact the world. And in fact, I personally begin and end each day by journaling. And one of the questions I ask myself at the end of the day is, how did I change the world? Knowing I'm going to ask this question means I better have an answer. Now, some days it's small and others it may be of more significance, but the size of the impact doesn't really matter.
What is up, Impact Heroes? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Rick Ornelas. Thank you for spending some time with us today because we know time's a valuable resource and we're going to make it worth your while. I appreciate each and every one of you, not just for listening, but for who you are. I know you're sparking change to make the world a better place every day, and I am humbled and grateful for your efforts. It takes all of us doing our part to spread positive change, and that's what this show is all about. Motivating you with stories of struggle, courage, and hope to empower you to make a difference in your life and the lives of others.
In case you missed it.
I love that. I think it would be the world that it was more so created to be. We would just remove our fears and our imperfections because we don't have to be perfect.
Available everywhere you listen to your podcasts.
Welcome back, Impact Heroes, to the latest edition of I Spark Change Through. Our goal with these episodes is featuring all the different ways that us and others spark change to make the world a better place through social impact and positive change. We found that over the past few years that there are endless ways to positively impact others each day. The response to this segment has been extremely positive, and we've had episodes on sparking change through fitness, adventure, mind, body, spirit, volunteering, mental health awareness, writing, interns, cultural exchange, networking, and most recently on the power of time. So on that note, I have a question for you. How do you spark change? One of the ways we spark change here at I Spark Change is through self-care. Now, this term is thrown around a lot, especially online, especially on social media. And in fact, just recently, September was Self-Care Awareness Month, if you didn't know. Now, caring for yourself can take on various meanings to different individuals. For some, it may mean taking care of your physical health. For others, mental health. Some, it's their spiritual health, and maybe even financial. And go back to our episode on mental health because you'll have some great tips there if that's self-care for you. But in my career coaching others in various capacities, such as entrepreneurs, professionals, athletes, what I found is there are some constants, but it always comes down to improving in one aspect or another. Now, for me, I consider self-care doing everything you can to be and become the best version of yourself. So not just maintaining some version of the status quo, but honestly striving to improve on a daily basis. Because if you improve just 0.01% per day, which is imperceptible, it's tiny. In 10 years, you will have improved by 1,000%. Yes, you heard that correctly, 1,000%. Now, this is a huge improvement over really not that period of time, because I've learned in the last few years that time can pass much faster than any of us realize. And you can go back to last month's episode to learn more about the power of time if you want to value it more. So what do you do for self-care? Well, you'll have to answer that question, but it really depends on you. And to answer, you will need to find the areas you want to improve for yourself or the areas that you may be lacking in some way. I found that is the quickest way to care for yourself because usually there's some deficiency there. So my guess is that you or those close to you will know the areas that you can improve. Now, if it's not obvious, then ask yourself some questions because the power of questions will help you determine where you need to be. I learned very early in life that by asking yourself questions, you can find a path to improve. As a teenager, it was all about things like improving in school and sports. So I would ask myself questions like, how can I get an A on this test? Or how can I become faster? Or what do I need to do to become a better rebounder? And then I would do the actions needed to get there. So as I moved through my career, it became about being great in sales and a leader. And that would bring questions such as, what can I read to become a better sales rep? Or how can I train my team to be more effective? And, some of my fondest memories were when I became a parent. It transitioned to, how can I be a better father, or what lessons can I impart on my daughters to help them later in life? And I really learned the value of questions. And you can go back to an article I wrote on this by the power of questions for my daughters, from them asking me questions, because a 4-year-old asks them, in excess of 400 questions a day. And so that's where I really learned the power of questions. But at this stage in my life, it's about becoming better all around so I can best serve and impact the world. And in fact, I personally begin and end each day by journaling. And one of the questions I ask myself at the end of the day is, how did I change the world today? Knowing I'm going to ask this question means I better have an answer. Now, some days it's small, and others it may be of more significance, but the size of the impact doesn't really matter. All that matters is that I served others and created a positive impact. So I challenge you to take a good hard look at who you are today and who you want to become. Now start asking yourself questions and discover the self-care that's right for you. Because as the great Brian Tracy once said, your life only gets better when you get better. And that's why I feel that self-care is really about improving yourself and becoming that best version of yourself. So I'd love to hear what works in your situation. You can go back to some of our previous episodes on the power of a morning routine or making connections for some tips on how you can become better and how others can help you become better. So I want to thank you for joining me on this quick episode today. I hope that what I shared resonated with you in some way and that it sparks something inside of you. Remember, you have the ability to spark change each and every day for yourself and everyone else. I'd love to learn more about the ways that you spark change, so please share those with me on social media. I promise I will personally respond to each and every message. Thank you for listening today, and we'll see you all next time on the I Spark Change podcast.
Do you want Rick to speak at your event? Here is what others have to say.
Did not know his story, and it was so inspirational, and his presence on stage, his authenticity was just incredible.
Absolutely loved his performance. Made me feel some type of way.
If you're looking for a speaker for your next event, hire Rick. I promise you this, you will not be disappointed.
Visit rickcornelis.com to book him today.
Remember, Impact Heroes, every positive action can be a spark moment that has a ripple effect that spreads far beyond the initial act. So go out there and spark change. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode, then please smash that 5-star rating on iTunes or Spotify and leave a review. We value your comments and we want to hear from you in the community. Thank you for listening. God bless you, and we'll see you next week on the I Spark Change podcast.